Hi everyone. Today I wanted to share some important topic about patience and about being patient, and that is the key component of success, of any success. If you want to achieve success, you need to be patient. And I want to actually explore this topic in three different aspects. One of the aspects is the overall financial success. Another aspect is the relationship success, success in relationship with your family, with your loved ones. And another one is the success in professional sphere, being an expert and stuff like that. And for that, I have prepared several slides. I will share them in the comments, and you can download and have a bit of a play with it. So, and first thing that I wanted to share, that patience is something that is that can be perceived as an obstacle when we want to achieve something. We already imagined it, we already made things up in our mind, and we already know what we want. That's the first step. And then we already want to have it. We already want to get to the destination. But patience is something that allows us to do it, because it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen instantly. In order to get to the destination, if that destination is something valuable, we need some time and effort, and that requires patience. So we need to believe the fact that it will happen. We need to believe that our efforts will bear fruit. So, and that belief actually makes us do something, act towards the goal in the correct direction. An important thing is not to think that patience is the equivalent of passive waiting. It's not just waiting for the things to sort themselves out. It's actually the patience for results. You still need to act, you still need to change, you still need to do something, but you need patience to see the results of your actions, because they don't happen themselves. You need not just to wait for the things to sort out, for the things to just magically turn out right for you, but you need to do something and to change in order to achieve that. And those changes, they don't bring results immediately. Some of the changes, some of the actions, they bring results really soon, a bit sooner than you expect. Some of the things can bring results a bit later than you expect. And all valuable things in life, they require some time before you see the result, or at least initial signs of getting the results. And it is true for most of the spheres of our life. It is true for financial sphere, it is true for relationship, it is true for professional things. So when you think that in order to get results you need just to wait, that's just part of the process. It is not just passive waiting, it is the active waiting. It is like not active waiting, but active expectation. So you expect that to happen, but not just happen by itself. You expect things to happen because you act, because you do something towards the goal. That's the paradigm shift in your mind, paradigm shift in our thinking model, and that's the only way to reach the goals, any valuable goals. Yeah, unvaluable things or maybe shallow things, they happen themselves. Another important thing about patience is that it allows the goal or the result, the expectation, to mature. If you imagine the concrete, for example, when you pour concrete, it is in a liquid state, right? So when you prepare some foundation for a building and you pour concrete in a liquid state, you need some time for it to mature, to become solid, something that you can build the entire building on. And you need some time and some proper conditions for that to actually become firm. And that metaphor demonstrates how patience works. So patience is allowing the foundation to mature, allowing the foundation to become solid. Because the ideas that you have, the ideas and the values and understanding of the way, understanding of the destination is one thing that is kind of a liquid concrete, and then you need patience for it to become solid. And that patience work in a way when you keep being consistent, proving to yourself, improving to the world that your destination that you've chosen is right and worth pursuing. So that's how the foundation becomes solid, and that process requires patience. So the reality of the financial goal is building the foundation, understanding the key principles, and starting small and building the foundation that you then can build the entire building on. But that takes time, and you need to be patient, and you need to believe that it will happen if you don't go, if you don't leave that path. That will happen. There are certain mechanics in terms of achieving financial results. So there are certain mechanics. An important thing to understand that when you look at the chart, it can be a chart of a stock, for example, any financial charts. They have two axes, right? They have X and Y. They have vertical and horizontal axes. And one of the axes is the amount of capital or the price of the stock, something like that, something financial. But it's very important that the key axis is the time. So the longer you wait, the longer you being patient, the more results you can get if you keep going in the right direction. And the right direction is actually to be chosen at the beginning. And if you have, it's like driving a car. If you have moderate speed, you can adjust on the way. If you have really fast speed, it's very difficult to adjust on the way. So foundational things in terms of finances are driven from principles, driven from values, and driven from financial fundamental knowledge, fundamental things. So knowing something about compound interests, knowing something about financial habits, knowing something about budgeting, and the difference between how much you spend and how much you have the income of. So your income must always be higher than what you spend. And that's just key principle, because then over time, when you go through that time frame, and you keep doing small but right things, you guarantee great results for yourself. But those results, in order to see them, you need to wait, and you need to believe, you need to be patient to get to the point where you see the results. Another aspect of life where patience is very important is the relationship. It can be a relationship with a certain person, or a relationship with your spouse, relationship with your kids, with your family, with your friends. Relationship requires trust. If you want quality relationship, you need to build trust. You need to start trusting your partner, and you need your friends, your partner, to start trusting you. That requires time and situations. That's very important to go through certain situations. Maybe sometimes we already know ourselves, and we know that we are good people, and one situation is enough for the other person to understand how good we are. But that's actually not always true. One situation usually is not enough for us to build the level of trust that we can consider the foundation of good relationship, of valuable relationship. So the best thing that we can have when we build some relationship with people is interacting with them within various situations in life, so that there are circumstances created for us to prove that we are trustworthy. All of the situations that happen to us, all of the situations when we need their help or when they need our help, or when we just can be the support for them, when we just can be the open ear and hear to their problems, or maybe to share some gladness with them. Those situations are very valuable for long-term trust building. So in those situations, they kind of a compound over time, because people through time, they already know how we behave. They already know what we choose when given the choice between our interests and the interests of our friendship or the interests of our relationship. So people learn how we behave, and they attribute those behavior to us in future, so we can compound, so our further situations can take less effort and less time to build trust. But that's very important. One situation, one thing doesn't create a valuable relationship. It requires time, it requires situations, and it requires for us to be patient and to believe that if we keep being good people, the relationship will come. But it's important note here is that those things require the other party to be actually open for our kindness, for our behavior in certain situations. So sometimes we can be mistaken, but that's I may be going astray and talking about another topic. That's a different conversation, but yeah, let's keep it for now. In terms of a relationship, we go through different situations in life, and those situations, they often present choice between instant gratification and laying another brick into the foundation of our relationship. So sometimes it is the choice between our interests and the greater interests of the relationship. Sometimes it is the sacrifice that we need to make in order to make the life of our friend better. Maybe we need to sacrifice our time, maybe we need to sacrifice our resources, maybe we just need to be there for them, maybe just carry some heavy load that they have, so that we can split it and they have it easier on their side because of us. Those things, they represent choice in various situations that we make, and that choice is usually between instant gratification and delayed gratification. In a relationship, if we believe and we're being patient, we can brick by brick build the foundation for great relationship, and that requires patience. That's how patience is expressed or is revealed in the aspect of relationship with people. Another aspect where patience is very important in life is building expertise, becoming an expert, building a skill. That requires time. Skill and knowledge, they are different. You can know what to do and how to do things properly, but you need to develop skill through repetitions, through multiple trials of the same thing over and over again, through multiple interactions with the same thing over and over again, and that builds the skill, that builds the expertise. So that requires patience as well, because from the first attempt, yes, you maybe already know how to do things and you're already doing the things the right way, but you still can't do it on the expert level, because that requires for you to have some extra attention, maybe some extra resources in order to do it properly, and in order to maintain certain standards and stuff like that. But through time, the more you interact with the thing, the more you use your tool, the more mastery you have, and the more of an expert you become. And that requires patience. You need to believe that after a while you will become one. There are some rules which are the rule of 10,000 hours, like the rule of professionalism. It is kind of, if we divide it by 2,000 of working hours a year, that's 5 years of experience usually makes you into an expert in a certain area. If you've been diligently doing your stuff the way it is supposed to be done for 5 years straight, that's a long distance. That's not an easy thing to stay consistent with. But if you do, then after 5 years you already start seeing that expertise reveals itself within your master, within your skills. So yeah, and sometimes that process can seem boring. You can see that it requires some repetitive actions, some things that you do the same way over and over again, and sometimes it can be boring. Maybe you want to be more ambitious, to do more ambitious things right away, but actually you need to build some platform for that. So in order to get through the high hills, right, to get on the high hills, you need some speed, and that speed is gained on the solid surface. So that surface is built through your repetitions, through your boring actions, doing things right, one step after another. So doing things right for 5 years or for a long period of time, doing boring things right. That builds the plateau, and on that plateau you can gain some speed, and then from expert level you can already achieve some ambitious goals, which require some exponential speed up, and maybe jumping a bit higher than you're used to. But that requires some speed. You need some distance to actually run to gain that speed. And one of the key difficulties in terms of being patient is that there is always a temptation to give up. So you doing the same thing over and over again, you keep doing things right, but you don't see results. You still need to believe that results are coming, but you don't see them revealed yet. A good metaphor for it is when you try to split the rock, right? When you want to split the rock, you want to push really hard in the center of it, and it doesn't go apart from one push. You need to use your hammer for a lot of times, like for 100 times, for example. And each of the 99 times from those 100, those efforts will not have the desired result in the end. So if you do 99 hits of the hammer on that rock, you will not achieve the result. Yes, you will maybe see the crack, maybe you will see that you're getting closer to the result, but you haven't got there, and you don't know how much longer you need to wait, how much more you need to hit that rock. But eventually that one final hit brings you the result, and that can be seen by others as the only step that you've taken. The only step that you've taken, and that brought you the success. But in reality, that's not true. All of the 99 hits before, they count, and maybe even more valuable than that last one. So that metaphor actually illustrates how patience work. You need to be patient, and you need to actually then reflect and look back at what you've done to achieve that result. And you need to value all of those small steps, all of those small hits on the rock that you've done before that final one that brought you to the result. That's a very important thing, to stay humble and to get a lot of value from the result that you're getting. So let's revise some of the key things that we can call as the universal algorithm of structural growth. We covered 3 main domains in life, like finances, relationships, skills, and we covered the temptations that we have and the mechanism to really achieve the results. And in finances, it is overnight moonshots versus compounding interest. In relationship, it is the single grand gesture versus maturation. In terms of skills, it is quitting when gains vanish versus non-linear mastery. So we need to keep the invisible work going on. Those 99 hits on the rock, we need to keep doing them and believe in that final hit that will crack the rock apart. And it's very important to stay really honest with yourself during the process, because if we start, sometimes we really start having other people in mind, having other people, what they think, what they think of us, how they see our success. We start with that, but through time you understand that it is very difficult to keep that in your attention. It is like waste of resources. It is like waste of your energy if you constantly think about how other people think about myself, how other people think about my efforts, because those efforts, they don't bring results for a long time. And maybe I'm a bit frustrated, maybe it's very difficult for me to, and I feel the need to explain that the result is coming. No, actually that is the waste of energy, because the result is not really visible to other people until the rock is split in half, until that final hit of the hammer that we make. The result is not visible. So that requires patience from our side, not only in terms of doing the actions that we need, but also maintaining comfort level in terms of what other people think about us, right? Because we can get the attention from people questioning our actions, questioning our efforts, saying to us, where are the results that we expect to see? You're doing it for a long time and we still don't see any results. So they can question us, and for us the patience is not only the key to keep acting towards the goal, but also to keep the level of comfort and the level of self-discipline and the level of the attitude to ourselves, believing in the results that are coming, even if other people don't see them yet. So yeah, I think that's very important. So I think that's it. That's all that I wanted to share in terms of patience, in terms of being patient on the way towards your goals. We need to believe that the results are coming, but it takes time, it takes situations, it takes consistency, it takes building the foundation and being disciplined and consistent with the values and with the goals that we want to achieve. That requires patience.